Parshas Tetzaveh, Shabbos, Parsha Zachor, the Shabbos before Purim. We have so many things that we could speak about in the Shir this week. So what we're going to pick actually this year is that being that Purim is next Tuesday, we're going to speak about the Yontif of Purim. And there's really so much to prepare for Purim. Purim is a very, very special Yontif. And I'm going to try, just in the short amount of time that we're allotted every Thursday night, just to give some kind of an idea about how great this Yontif of Purim is. And really, the Nesivos Shalom tells us that we have to understand that the Yontif of Purim, for some reason, is really more connected, the Nes of Purim, the Megillas Esther, right? The whole Yontif of Purim is more connected to Esther than to anybody else. More than Mordechai, more than any other player in the entire story of Purim. And it's really kedai to analyze what was so special about that the entire Nes really revolved, and the entire Yontif of Purim so much revolves around Esther. And Nesivos Shalom tells us that it's kedai to understand and to analyze the great kedusha of this day of Purim too. And the Tikunei Zohar tells us something very interesting, that the day of Purim, the Yontif of Purim, is like Yom HaKippurim. And the Kisvei Arizal, who brings this down, the Kisvei Arizal tells us that in certain aspects, the light of Purim, the light of the Yontif of Purim, is even more and even greater than Yom HaKippurim and Shabbos. Really unbelievable statement, and it's really the Arizal, we know, understood these things and knew what all these things were about, and he said that the Yontif of Purim could be more than Yom Kippur and Shabbos. And Chazal tell us that in Mir Hashem soon, when Mashiach comes, all the Moyadim, all the Yomim Tovim are going to be batal. The Yom Tovim are going to be gone, except for one Yontif, and that is the Yontif of Purim. The Yontif of Purim will be forever. And we'll discuss a little later on in the Shir why exactly that is. And there's another very interesting point in the Megillah, a pasuk in the actual Megillah. And by understanding that pasuk, we might be able to understand the complete picture and some of the questions that we just asked about Purim. The pasuk tells us in the Megillah, Mordechai tells Esther the following: you must go in to Achashverosh. There's a terrible decree on Klal Yisrael, and you must go in and you must speak to Achashverosh. And Mordechai tells Esther the following, that if you don't go in, ki im hachareish tacharishi bo'es hazois, if you're not going to go and you're going to be quiet at this time, what's going to happen? The pasuk tells us, Mordechai says, Revach ve'atzola yamoid laYehudim mimokoim acher, that the salvation of Klal Yisrael will come mimokoim acher, from another place. But va'at uveis avich toivedu. If you don't go, Esther, the salvation of Klal Yisrael will come. It's going to come from somewhere else, but just know that you and your family will be lost. So, the first question that Nesivos Shalom asks on this pasuk is that the pasuk should have really said, Revach v'atzalo yamoid laYehudim al yidei acher. Someone else is going to do it. Esther, you're not going to do it. Someone else is going to do it. Why does the pasuk say that the salvation for Klal Yisrael will come mimokoim acher, from another place? Why this lashon of mimokoim, from another place? It should say through someone else. Also, why are we saying in this pasuk that Esther, if somebody else saves Klal Yisrael, you and your family, toivegu, you're going to be lost. Why? Why is it that way? So if somebody else rescues Klal Yisrael, and it's not Esther, so Esther and her family are also part of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is saved, so Esther and her family will be saved along with them too. Why are we saying that if someone else does it, and you don't do it, Esther Amalka, you don't do it, that you and your family are going to be lost? Why is that? They should come along with the rest of Klal Yisrael. And you know what? Even if we want to say, let's say, we would say that Esther did something wrong by not going, and she would get punished. What about her family? What did her family ever do? They didn't know anything about this. Why wouldn't her family be saved? So Nesivos Shalom explains all of these things that we spoke about with a very deep and interesting mahalech. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to simplify it and really bring it down to earth a little bit so we could understand it and try to apply it to everything that we want to do here tonight. There are different ways, says the Nesivos Shalom, there are different ways that Hashem runs the world. And the first way that Hashem runs the world is called Derech HaTeva. Hashem created the world. He set the world in motion, all the different laws of nature and physics and all those kind of things. Hashem set it in motion. And that's called Derech HaTeva, where things run the way Hashem set the world up. That's Derech HaTeva. And then later on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that there's going to be something else besides Derech HaTeva. There's something, when it came the era and the time of Yitzias Mitzrayim, we went to a new level. And you know what that new level is? That new level was called L'mayla Miderech HaTeva. We see all the Nisim of Mitzrayim, they weren't regular. They weren't normal. They were so different. They were so much more. Because Hashem had created a new level, a new place called L'mayla Miderech HaTeva, above the laws of nature. Look at all the things that happened at the Makkos of Mitzrayim. They defied the laws of nature. Hashem, a new level. There was a new thing, L'mayla Miderech HaTeva. But now the Nesivos Shalom says that there's another level that we need to really think about and understand. There's a special madrega that HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses, and only HaKadosh Baruch Hu could use, when all the doors are really closed. And in Mitzrayim, the doors were closed in a way, but Hashem made this thing called L'mayla Miderech HaTeva. But there are times when even L'mayla Miderech HaTeva is not enough. This new way that Hashem had set up, above the laws of nature, it's still not enough. And one such case was like in our story of Purim, by Mordechai and Esther, where it was already written and sealed, as the Megillah says, B'tabas HaMelech. And the Mefarshim tell us that when the Megillah tells us that it was sealed with the Tabas HaMelech, you know which Melech we're talking about? We're talking about Hashem, the Malkoi Shel Olam. The fate of Klal Yisrael had been sealed. And for that, even L'mayla Miderech HaTeva would not have helped. But there is a special hanhaga that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has, and it's kedai for everybody to know this. There's a special hanhaga where Hashem has, where a Yeshua, a salvation, can be reached even when it seems that everything is sealed, and everything's decided, and everything is off the table. There's a new level that Hashem could step in and go even above the Maila Miderech HaTeva. And that, says the Nesivos Shalom, is what Mordechai HaTzadik was telling Esther in the Megillah. Mordechai told Esther, if you're going to be quiet now, if you're not going to do what you can do for Klal Yisrael, that Revach v'Hatzola would come to Klal Yisrael from where? Revach v'Hatzola would come, not al yedei acher, it would come mimakoim acher, from another place totally, a place above L'mayla Miderech HaTeva. It would come from a very special place, a place that is higher than normal, a place that is higher than L'mayla Miderech HaTeva. The salvation of Klal Yisrael would come from that way, that hanhoga of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where he will come to bring a Yeshua to Klal Yisrael with that extra special level. And the Sfarim HaKadoshim tell us that Mordechai had the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. How they knew that? They knew that. I don't know that. We don't understand these things. But the Sfarim HaKadoshim brought down, the Hasidic Sfarim brought down Chazal, that Moshe Rabbeinu, the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu was now in Mordechai. And we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was able to save Klal Yisrael after the Chet HaEgel, which we're going to read about in next week's Parsha. The Chet HaEgel, where it was a terrible, terrible sin. And it seemed that the fate of Klal Yisrael was sealed after the Chet HaEgel. But Moshe Rabbeinu was able to bring out that special level that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares for Klal Yisrael, higher than L'mayla B'derech HaTeva. Moshe Rabbeinu was able to do that, and now Mordechai understood that that's what had to be pulled out. Mimokoim acher, it had to come from that other place, from that special place. It was clear to Mordechai that Revach ve'hatzola yamoid laYehudim mimokoim acher, from that other place, the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu did it. But the only way to do that, Mordechai understood, is that it requires tremendous Mesiras Nefesh. And that, when Mordechai told Esther, you need the Mesiras Nefesh, that is when Esther decided to go all out. I'm putting everything on the line. The Chasher avadati. Whatever I lose, I'm ready to lose everything. I'm going to go in and try to save Klal Yisrael. And once Esther decided she was going to go with such Mesiras Nefesh, then all the doors began to open as a result of that Mesiras Nefesh. A very important lesson from us. And Esther came from the family of Shaul HaMelech. And we know that Shaul HaMelech did not kill, if you learn Tanakh, Shaul HaMelech did not kill the king of Amalek, Agag. And because he did not kill the king of Amalek, out of Agag came Haman. And Haman came because of that sin. And Esther, says in Nesivos Shalom, was now finally going to be misakein that chet of her family, that Agag, that Amalek was left alive. So the Pasuk tells us, if you're going to be quiet, there will be a Revach Latzola. But Esther, this is your chance to redeem your family. This is your chance to redeem your ancestors who left Amalek alive. Agag was left alive, and now because of him, we have this problem now. Haman is making problems for Klal Yisrael. Esther, you could be misaking this. And if you don't do it, they're carrying this sin, and now they will be lost forever, because the chance to redeem them would have been lost. The chance to be misakein, this chet, would have been lost for your family forever. It'll affect your whole family, and they won't be saved ever from that chet. So, as we said, now we can understand all the moyadim, all the yomim tovim that we celebrate, even the ones l'mayla miderech hateva, Pesach, the Makkos, all these things that we say, all the Yom Tovim that are here, even because of l'mayla miderech hateva. When Mashiach comes, all these Yom Tovim are going to go away. Because you know what? Bizman Mashiach, which will come very, very soon, Bizman Mashiach, everything is going to be l'mayla miderech hateva. So it's not going to be so special, so unique to have these Yom Tovim, like what we had, the Makkos and Pesach and Gulas Mitzrayim. That's going to be regular day-to-day stuff. So that's going to be and what we do every day, so those Yom Tovim are going to go away. But the Yom Tov of Purim, which is a step above the Ma'ala Miderech HaTeva, now we can understand why the Yom Tov of Purim is going to stay for all time. So we need to keep this in mind on Purim this year, to daven different, to celebrate Purim in a special way, more than any other Yom Tov, more than any other Shabbos, because it's on such a special level that it can do so much more for us. Let's take advantage. Don't let this Purim go by. Don't let another Purim go by without us using it. Everybody should have a good Shabbos and a Freilichem Purim for next week.